Welcome. I welcome you to a recent panel discussion that I had with four brilliant minds. My name is Pastor Keith Garrett. I'm the pastor of New Life Church. And I recently sat down with four leaders, educators, brilliant, successful minds. And the thesis was they can. Children overcoming the prevailing narrative of police brutality, racism, and imminent failure. The point was kind of to flip the script a little bit, to not so much focus on the negatives that certainly do exist all around us. And children are hearing this, no doubt, every day, that racism exists, that police brutality exists, and that imminent failure as a result of that is to be considered. But we wanted to slow the brakes on that. We wanted young people and their families, their parents, to know that you can succeed. Yes, there are negatives and impediments all around us, but you can be all that God has called you to be. And the panelists that I sat down with, first there was Tony Garrett, a native of Chicago. Tony Garrett served in the U.S. Navy, honorably discharged after 10 years. There he developed a strong sense of service toward others. He's now a CHP officer, and he wanted to sit down and discuss these issues with us. Number two, Nadine Francis. Nadine was born and raised in Canton, Mississippi. Nadine had married, and Nadine has two boys. Both are professional pharmacists. Nadine's been married for 37 years, and she currently serves as a nurse manager providing evidence-based order sets for the community health system. Next, there was Dee Blythe. Dee has been married for 25 years. She herself has two adult sons, and Dee serves as an educator, working with families, parents, and their children to communicate that same theme that they can. Last, certainly not least, we had LaMonica Garrett. LaMonica is an actor. We thought it was great to have an entertainer, to have an actor here among us. LaMonica served in movies such as Primal, Daddy's Home, Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon. He likewise is married. He's raising two children, one a teenager, one little boy about to be one. So we thought this was a great opportunity to do and challenge folk to believe. I'll leave you with this quote before we get into the panel. One of my favorite professional Americans stated this in front of a group of kids. He said, and I quote, "It ain't so much where you start in life, but it's what you do with life that will determine where you end up in life." When he said that, the room erupted almost into praise. These young folk began to shout and clap, dare I say rejoice, because they needed to hear. They needed to hear that you don't have to fail. They needed to hear that everything is not negative. They needed to hear that you are not going to be bound by these narratives that you hear all around you. So I encourage you to listen in. I encourage you to enjoy this. I found it to be very helpful. May God bless you. Yeah.
My husband brought my mom with us, and he had to sit with Granny the whole time. That was torture. That was more torture than giving him a spanking. But he knew after that he didn't do that anymore because he took responsibility for his behavior, his choices. And we talk about wise choices in our home a lot when they were growing up, not just good choices, but wise choices. And I just don't think that's being taught today in the homes. I think these kids just get what they want because they're who they are, and the parents don't really want to fight or deal with it much, which is pretty sad because you signed up for it, and it takes work. It's a lot of work. I think parents need to be taught that this is not just something you get into and that they get to figure it out on their own. They have to have guidance. They have to have structure. They have to have expectations. And whatever the expectations are, they will meet them, whether they're low or whether they're high. They actually will meet them. So in the home, if it's set low, they'll meet those low expectations. If it's set high, they'll meet those expectations.
LaMonica Garrett, I want to speak to you on this because you're raising a young son. You also have a teenage girl. And Dee is suggesting to us, and I want to put words in your mouth, Dee, maybe I'll make the suggestion. This is what I infer from what she said. The prevailing narrative has been that a lot of the stains within a certain community of people are either police brutality or racism, and those things certainly exist, and they may exist to various degrees. I hear her bringing up a different argument, if you will, and the issue being the issue of parenting. How have you and your wife addressed the issue of having to turn this young boy into a grown man who has personal agency?
Well, mom and dad taught us about discipline and work ethic.
Yeah.
And something that I got outside of the home was through sports, ambition, drive, learning to fail early. I failed a lot early. I think a lot of times with the kids coming up now, for whatever reason, this everybody wins mentality, that's not preparing them well for the next stage in life. Like, you have to, losing hurts and it sucks, but you figure out how to get better after you lose. You figure out when you fail how to get back up. You fall 9 times, you get up 10 times.
Yeah.
And a lot of what's going on now is no one wants to fail. That has a lot to do with social media. Back when we were younger, we would fail a bunch. We're not reminded of it 1,000 times on Instagram or Twitter. Like, it's not, no one's recording it. We failed, we figured it out, and you get better. My work as an actor, I go to 20 auditions, I get told no like 17 times. Like, my mentality is I'm gonna prove everyone wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality. Like, when I talk to, kids in school, when I talk to my teenager, what I'm gonna tell my son is things aren't fair. Stop thinking things are fair. Life isn't fair. Nothing is fair. You hear kids like, well, it's not fair. He gets to, she gets to, they get treated this way. Mom and dad taught us things aren't fair. Get over it. Have a work ethic. You might have to work twice as hard to get half as much. You work twice as hard when people out here nowadays are barely working. You're going to get a lot more than half as much. But you got to have that mentality of, I'm going to work twice. I'm not going to be outworked in this room. And every actor I've ever worked with, that's the one thing about me is I'm on point. I'm the first one there. I'm the last one to leave. You can. It might be a little harder, but I tell youngsters, you can do it. But stop thinking things are fair and start trying to prove people wrong. There's a lot of people that think you can't do things. Yeah. And it's better that energy, like, I can't wait to get up in the morning and I'm going to prove everybody wrong than a self-defeated, turn off the game clock because we don't want to keep score because these kids are going to feel bad if they lose.
Yeah.
That's not the way to go through life. Then that starts early. You don't do that. You have to compete when you get older in life. And competing starts younger in life. You can't wake up at 25 and say, I'm going to compete now. No, you have a defeated mentality, and that's not going to serve you well for the next part in life.
What is success? I know those are two big questions, but I don't want to assume that everyone has to go to college. I don't want to assume that everyone has to be a pharmacist, okay?
Right. Starting off, when they were babies, we already told them that education, when it came down to education, you were not complete with school until you actually finished college. Whether that was the 4, 6, or 8, however many years, so don't even think that you're done as far as this. So we started that at a very young age with them. We didn't know, neither one of us, because we didn't have our college education once when we first married. But we did strive and we worked hard and we both got it, after we married and stuff like that. And we also told them that, as far as the color of your skin, you have to work 3 times as hard. Jim has 3 master's degrees and still has, about the position just the same as somebody that just has a bachelor's degree. But you know what? We don't have that same coat on. So you have to look at the fact, and we always told them you have to be 3 or 4 times different or, smarter or be on top of things, basically, in order to achieve, just the little minor things you want. And not only that, still today, with them having their doctorates as far as in, in pharmacy, he's telling me you're not done yet. You still need to go back and get an MBA. You need to set yourself aside because, as far as some of the other people, as far as that's concerned. So, that's something that he's working on now. So he's constantly. And, just having a positive person in your life, every day of their life, basically in college, if I didn't talk to them, their dad was going to talk to them. So, just having a positive role model or somebody in your life to tell you these things, or to, just to be there. Like I said, that it takes something like that in order to help the young blacks out of whatever they're in right now, because of the fact a lot of times they don't have that role model as far as somebody helping them to get out of what they are, in as far as poverty or anything else. And they just think they see the role models they see are the ones that are, they see their nice fancy cars, but these people are doing things that they're not supposed to, as far as drugs or anything, whatever it might be. But if they see something positive out of it, like I like the way he's living, so let me see what he's doing and try to mimic what he's doing, not knowing that there's other ways out there. So, they have to, if we had more positive role models as far as males, same for females, I think that, our society would be a little bit better. But right now we're just stuck in just in a rut right now, and it's going to take a lot to pull us out. So that's how I look at it.
And I appreciate you saying that. Real quick, what is success? So, for example, if you were talking to a group, because you raised your two, and you really invested in your two, if I said to you, I want you to go talk to a coliseum full of children, okay? And I want them to be successful as a result of your leadership, your encouragement, your counsel. What is success to a young American child?
Well, let me just say this here. Success is in the eye of the beholder. You may look at success one way, and I may look at it one other way. So somebody that's maybe making $40,000 a year may think they're doing great, and they're great success. So I can't, it's kind of hard to really say what is success, but if you're able to take care of yourself, do some of the things in life that you want to do, not having to go and borrow from Tom, Dick, and Harry or whatever to get things taken care of, that you're able to, just pay your bills or do whatever, that can be success for some. Some may want to travel the world. That'll be success for them. Some may want to have, the nice cars and the nice things or whatever, so that's success. But then some, if they're just able to just get up in the morning and just do the natural things, that can be success for them. So it's a broad range when you say success. We just knew what we wanted the kids. We wanted you to do a little bit better than what we're doing as far as that's concerned. And they started out that way. So.
How long did it take you to achieve success, or did you feel successful along the way? Again, I want to unpack what success is for young people.
I think as I was attaining different goals that I've set for myself, I felt successful in that scenario.
Okay.
So along the journey, when I attained a goal that I set, I felt successful.
You felt successful.
So I think, but as far as life goes and successful, I think you have to begin with the end in mind. So whatever that end goal is, you have to start out on that track with the end in mind.
Yeah. D.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'll add on to it just a little bit. Even in the little things, when you help someone set a goal, like I have the students make small goals throughout the year, and when they meet those goals, we call that success. I consider success to be progress in any area. If you're a non-reader and you start to learn how to read, that is success. That's like huge success.
I'm going to say something.
So those little steps we can get kids. Go ahead.
No. I want you to finish your thought.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say something.
Okay. If it's those little things that we could get kids to focus on, that help them look at I can. That's where they get that I can mentality in my class. I know it is because I don't ask them to do, multiplying decimals on day one. I got to get them there. So if I can get them to learn their multiplication facts at the beginning, they feel like, okay, I have the tools, I have the equipment, I'm equipped now to learn the next thing. And I think that's in adults. Everybody sees that. Just listening to Tony just now talking about where he started in the military, He already had started on a successful track, so to speak, because it took him to where he was like, I'm going somewhere, looking forward. If there's nothing to look for, there's really nothing to do. That's where I think the I can'ts come from. They're not looking at the little things that they can do one thing at a time to lead up to something big.
Yeah, I think being true to yourself, first and foremost, is whatever your values are. If you go and you can sell yourself out, yeah, and you won't like who you are 5, 6 years from now or whatever it is. Speaking of the rapper you were talking about, his main goal for voting for Trump was because he didn't want to pay personal taxes. He wanted his taxes lower. So that's selfishness. That's not, that's about him and him telling other people, you guys need to do this to help me save my money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not what it's all about. And I'm like, I live by a different purpose. I'm not driven by money.
Yeah.
If I do my job really well, money will be a byproduct.
Sure.
They'll give me money for doing what I do.
Yeah.
But I think service to others and helping others, like as an actor, it's about empathy. Your empathy is your best tool. So sellout is like Uncle Tom, it's like you have to be black to be a Democrat, you have to be white to be like that. Like, it's just being true to yourself.
Yeah.
If you can honestly look yourself in the mirror and you're, service to others, helping other people, whatever party you're with, and you're being true to who you are, like, you're not going to sell yourself out. Muhammad Ali said, like, don't betray yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to be with yourself, and that's it. Like, as far as the blacks have to be Democrats kind of thing, and 50 can't vote for whatever because he's Republican. I have Republican buddies that are black. I have Republican buddies that are white. I have Democrat buddies that are white. I have Democrat buddies that are black. If good people are good people, we see the world different, policies, and but if you're a good human being, that supersedes anything with right or the left or anything.
Yeah. And
I think that's just the base of it. But if your whole value system is based around money, and yeah, I don't know.
There's a Bible verse that tells us, train up a child the way he should go. And I like to throw the addendum individually. Okay. The way that particular child should go. Train up a child the way he should go. And when he was old, he will not depart from it. That speaks of two main things. One speaks of success at the end, whatever success is. But it also speaks of each child has, what Nadine was saying, what you all have said, really. Each child really can have his or her own path. Would you all agree with that? So then the question would be, and I want to throw this out to Nadine, and then we'll get around with this. Nadine, do we have the resources? Do we have the time? Do we have the government? Do we have the teachers? Do we have whatever in this country to focus on an individual child so that child can end up in her path where she belongs, leading to success? Is that even reasonable?
You know what? I would say you don't have the resources that we need. The schools are crowded, the teachers are few, and those that are there for, even though there are some good ones, some are there, basically, and they're not, I would say, how would I say this not to be so offensive or whatever, they want to be there, but then again, there were so many students and they know they can't do a good job because of the fact there's so many there. So some kids are going to be lacking because of the fact there's not enough of teachers to go around to even help them out to do the things that they need to do. So, in society, we look at the teachers are one of the lowest paying groups there is as far as that's concerned. And, you know, they tried, and they're the ones that actually help us raise our children, basically.
I think I remember when we were kids, it was the same general things. And I don't think there were many resources then, just like now. But for some reason, we came into school with a different attitude. So these attitudes that come into the classroom day one, that you take 2 weeks to convince them that they're going to receive whatever necessary help they need from me as a teacher or the school in general. Those things were out the window. But today, I think that when we can get everybody on the same page and all these different things fight against whatever the teacher's suggestions are and things like that. And this is seen often when a parent knows they didn't get all they should have received from their own education. They go in with this mindset of, I'm going to get that for my kid. And they don't know how to speak it. They don't know how to address it. Of course, students don't know how to address it. And with that being said, it's definitely the role of everyone involved to look out for the best interests of every single student, regardless of how many resources a school has. Teachers are so crucial, and they have a great influence over students. They can make them believe they can. They can make them believe they can't. Good teachers and parent communication is so absolutely a must. Sometimes teachers have to go that extra mile to make sure parents are kept in the loop and what they need voluntarily. I'm doing that because I want to, not because I must do it, and not even because I'm getting paid to do it. Norm, I wish there were more teachers who felt the same.
I'm getting a lot of buffering all of a sudden.
And things like that, yeah, work out way, way better.
D, I appreciate that. I'm getting a lot of Ladies first again. Would you take 30 seconds, Nadine, and just give us some closing thoughts?
I think I
just heard her.
I think we lost
you. Can you hear me?
All right, we're gonna
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm not able to hear you guys, so
You can't hear? No, she can't hear. Okay, that's all right. I want to thank you for
I'm
being.
sorry, I can't hear anything.
All right. I want to thank you for being a part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have to leave, Nadine, that's okay. If you have to leave. D, would you give us 30 seconds, just any closing thoughts?
I really am, I really am impressed by this panel and all the different viewpoints, different age groups, different backgrounds. And I think this is a good picture of what can happen when a student or a child of any culture, particularly African American, because that's our focus, sees how people can come from different places and end up at different levels of success.
Yeah.
So it's something to strive for. That all of them can see this just with this group, they can strive for anything. I love it. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, D. LaMonica, closing thoughts?
Yeah, the thesis of this is they can, so I want to keep it positive. I think overall, like for myself, accountability, hold myself accountable to a fault. If something happened to me 99% out of my control, I'll focus on the 1% just to keep my power.
Yeah.
Because I think we give away our power a lot. We all have power.
Yeah.
And we give it away, blaming other people for where we are. Another discussion to be had, like I don't think this system was designed for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's another discussion. So in light of that, we have to work, like Nadine said, 3 times as hard. I said twice as hard. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be fair.
Yeah. But
we can get there. We might just have to work a little harder and we could all achieve our dream.
Tony, I'm going to have you close us out.
Well, Keith, again, thank you for putting this discussion together. I'm honored to be a part of it. What Dee was saying earlier, I think it's great that we all came together and had an open discussion. And then we're keeping with the theme of they can. Like LaMonica said, you know, it starts with accountability. We have to teach kids and show them that they aren't victims. You can't have that victim mentality. You can achieve whatever you set your mind to, whatever you set those goals to.
Yeah.
You're not a victim. And again, thank you, Keith, for putting this together.
All right. Well, I thank you all. You all made this very successful, if I can use that word. And you're brilliant in your own disciplines, in your own right. You're brilliant in your own attributes, in your own success. Are you back with us, Nadine?
I am. Sorry. I had to call on another phone. But
listen,
that's fine. Keep going.
And I know you got to take off. You got a few more minutes?
Yeah, but yes, don't worry.
I just wanted you to close out 30 seconds to a minute. If there's anything you wanted to end with before we conclude today's panel.
Well, it's just, we just as a society will have to come together some kind of way and figure out how we can help our people as a nation. I know that's a tough cookie, and basically there's been a lot of people that probably try it and, it was unsuccessful, but even if it's just people in your community, try to figure out something in order to help them. Even with this discussion, I think that would be great. And even the next time, maybe get some younger people on the panel. Like, for instance, your daughter, my son, or something like that. They should be able to help us to, come up with something, as far as the idea. Even LaMonica's daughter or something like that. Just get her from a younger person's perspective of which way we need to go and how they think that we can help others. So I think that would be something, if we decide to go ahead and to do this again.